Playing the Radical Latino Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands in the air for New York's very own.
Radical
Latino is taking you to another level.
Beats by Nebs.
Yo! What up, my people? Welcome back to another episode of the Radical Latino Show. It's your host, the Radical Latino. Now, today it's a very special interview, a very educational interview, something that I've always been talking about ever since I started my platform, something that I've always tried to warn people ever since I started my platform. And I'm glad that today you guys are able to hear it from the horse's mouth. You know, this was something in the making, in my end, in the making for quite some time. I want to give you guys some backstory. I got in contact with a couple of other people that were former neo-Nazi white supremacists. They're all the same, but they were former, white supremacists. And it happened twice, where the one person that I was gonna get an interview from, last minute got scared away and decided not to do it, because of the questions or whatever. He didn't feel right, so that was whatever. The second person that I wanted to interview ended up listening to the podcast and decided not to do so. For whatever reason they want to do it, they wanted not to come in, is on them. But it kind of does, for me personally, it kind of raises a red flag where it goes, are you still, reforming? Are you still not a white supremacist? You know what I mean? So kind of raises a red flag, but I'm happy that I was able to contact Fritz, who you're gonna hear in a few minutes, for an interview, and he was more than happy to come in and share his story and share his experience and share his knowledge of the movement with us. I want to give you guys a backstory on how I found them, to be completely honest. This tweet that you guys are seeing, if you guys are seeing this on YouTube, by all means, this is a tweet, but for the people on the podcast, I'm going to read it out. I went on Twitter basically just digging because I was kind of desperate just to find a former neo-Nazi, who wanted to even come in. And it took me a good 3 to 5 hours to find it. And I found somebody on Twitter, and Fritz, his tweet basically was, I'm a former Nazi skinhead. I lived the hate. I loved the hate. I fed off of it. It's much easier to love your brother. #Ferguson. This was tweeted in August 17, 2014. I found this tweet. It didn't get enough retweets or whatever the case is, but I did find it, and I digged for it. And I contacted him and I said, listen, I found this tweet. If you don't mind, come in and we'll have an interview, because I want your point of view and your ideology to be broken down, and all of this other stuff. Because remember, people, when all my episodes are basically breaking down the white supremacy and breaking down the codes of white supremacy, not only to inform us and empower us, but also to understand where these people are coming from, to also understand the mentality that happens and festers with certain type of people who believe, even though the system is set up for them, believe that they're the ones being victimized for whatever circumstances that they're going to. Yeah, everybody go through circumstances, but we have to understand there is a certain system set up that allow these circumstances to happen. So this is the reason why I always wanted a former white supremacist to come in and talk, and having their challenges not only challenges challenged beliefs challenged, but also having us peek a little bit, like, you know, put the curtain back and peek into that other side of why they do or why they did what they did, you know. So without further ado, you know, I do a lot, I do long intros, you know what I'm saying? Without further ado, here goes the interview with Fritz. I hope you guys enjoy it. Yo, what's up, guys? It's the Radical Latino, and I'm back with another episode. Now, this time I always bring you guys special guests, and this time is not any different. And today I have with me a former, not current, but former white supremacist, and he goes by the name of Fritz. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, brother?
Nothing much, just hanging in there, you know. Hopefully everything is okay with you with this whole COVID thing, you know?
Doing so good so far, anyway.
Yeah.
Successfully hiding from it.
Yeah. That's a good thing. I think everybody's trying to hide from it at this point. But I wanna thank you for coming in and actually giving us your point of view and your story.
Hey, no problem.
All right. So Fritz, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I am pushing 50. I like long walks on the beach, pina coladas, and beating Nazis.
All right.
No, actually, I am pushing 50. I grew up in Southern California, which is where all of my story takes place. And I now live on the East Coast.
Okay, gotcha.
And loving every minute of it.
Gotcha. Now, I found you on Twitter, basically. I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything that you know how I found you. You know, you didn't come looking for me, I came looking for you, you know. I found you on
and you dug for that tweet.
Yes I did. Yes I did. I found you on Twitter, and I'm gonna read what you said on Twitter, and which intrigued me, and that's the reason why I reached out to you. You said, "I'm a former Nazi skinhead. I live the hate. I love the hate. I fed off it. It's much easier to love your brother." You know, and then you hashtag Ferguson. This was in 2014. Can you tell us what made you want to join the white supremacist group?
Well, we're going to have to go really way back in my life and move up to that. My early life was without a father. I was constantly picked on at that point in my life. I wasn't accepted anywhere. Okay? I was a good Christian kid in my teens.
Yeah.
And give me 1 second here.
No, take your time.
I had to hit my cough button.
Take your time.
Yeah, I was a good Christian kid. You know, I was there for the acceptance, I think, more than really the faith.
Yeah.
So I was looking for a place. I have battled alcoholism since I was 13.
Okay.
And I found that lovely alcohol and said, "Ooh, I fit in. I'm good."
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then the reason I bring up fatherless is because my only father figure in my life passed away suddenly when I was roughly 17.
Wow, I'm sorry to hear that.
Okay. And I had gone to my church for help, for some support, and I got one comment from a guy that I didn't even know there. And he said something to the effect of, you know, to seek sympathy is a sin.
Wow.
And it crushed me.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And that is why we have to, as people, we have to be very careful what we say when we're talking to people who are in need.
Yeah.
And this is where it's easier to love, you know.
Yeah.
And the result of that was I was I had a good buddy of mine who was heavily involved with Nazi skinheads in Orange County, and I was already running with him.
Okay.
This happened, and I sank. I sank into that hate.
Really? Wow.
I got into, it was just that one comment, and boom, gone. And when I got in tune with that hate, and I fed off it, like I said in the tweet, I felt good. I felt powerful. You know, I had these guys behind me that I could start a fight with any person of color.
Yeah.
And they would be behind me. I wouldn't have to worry about getting my ass kicked because there's 6 guys behind me who will take care of it, you know?
Yeah.
So and I'm going to steal a Curtis Sliwa quote here. A gang is just a large group of cowards.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. One-on-one, they're nothing.
Yeah.
But when they got their voice,
they're
big and bad.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's where I was. I was a coward.
Yeah.
Right? And, this went on for roughly the next 4 years of my life.
Oh, so you were with that that neo-Nazi group for only 4 years?
Yeah.
Okay. And something very interesting you told me, and I'm gonna you dropped the bomb on me, I'm gonna drop the bomb on my audience right now. that you said that you're half Mexican.
I wouldn't say half Mexican, but I am at least quarter Mexican.
Okay. I'm sorry.
On my mother.
Go ahead.
On my mother's side, on my mother's side of the family, I have German, Mexican, and Scottish.
Gotcha. And your dad's side of the family?
That is mostly Welsh.
Okay, gotcha. So you were caught.
Which is why I don't even.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I don't even. It's like my grandmother's German blood came into the mix here, and that killed all of the Hispanic look to us.
Got it. So did your mom have or look at least somewhat ethnic or?
No.
Okay, got it. So
no, like I say, my great grandmother and my great grandfather, you could tell he was absolutely Mexican American.
Gotcha.
It kind of faded out. My uncle today carries a little bit of it, but not much, and I don't look anything like it.
Got it.
So I'm 6'4".
Yeah. so
6'4", blue eyes.
Yeah. I could probably imagine. You didn't resemble any lineage of just a quarter anything. But you told me something. You told me after I asked you, did your friends your former friends in that group, did they know that you were a quarter Mexican? You told me no. So what?
No, they didn't.
So what made you hide it?
I knew that we had. I didn't really hide it, honestly. I didn't talk about it much, even then. Okay. I wasn't big on my genealogy back then.
Got it.
I knew that we had Spanish roots, which actually is untrue because we come from Portugal into Mexico and then up into California.
Yeah. So is it? Did you find some sort of like internal clash because you were a quarter Mexican?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
It's not something that was like always right in the back of my head, but every now and then when we talked because my great grandmother was still alive at this point.
Okay.
My great grandfather had passed before I was even born.
Gotcha.
So when I'm talking with my grandma, well, her married name being Machado, I'm having to sit here like,
Yeah.
You're a race traitor.
Yeah.
You were porking the mags. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was that little bit of conflict in there, and I successfully hid most of this from my family.
Wow.
I don't think even today, my mom, I know that she knows that I was running with them.
Yeah.
I don't think that she knows what I was doing.
Like the extent
and
of it.
how
Yeah.
deep I was.
Yeah. Got it.
And if she listens to this, she will now.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Like that's the thing. Like some family members and some, some people who are either close with their family or not even, some people live double lives, which is insane. Did you feel, because you were a quarter Mexican and you kind of, were having that turmoil, did you feel like you were living a double life?
I didn't at the time. I look back on it and I say, okay, my anxieties from there were, it was because I was living that double.
Gotcha. So what was the turning point? What made you leave?
I've always been attracted to women of color.
Okay.
That's
so that Mexican in you. That's that Mexican in you.
Yeah. Southern California, we're sitting here, we're hanging out on the Huntington Beach Pier, and a little Mexican girl walks by with the bikini on, and it's just like, nope. Can't be looking at that. I'm better than her. Sea Kyle, white power.
Yeah. There
goes another group of them. Oh God, I'm better. Nope. Can't be looking at them either. I'm white power. Sea Kyle. It's just, and I got tired of that.
Gotcha.
About 4 years in, I started running with another buddy of mine, who was actually a sharp skin.
What's the difference?
It's SHARP.
Yeah, what's the difference?
SHARP stands for Skinheads Against Racial Prejudice.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people believe that sharps are less violent. They're more peaceful. No, we just don't target people of color. We target Nazis.
Got it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, that was your turning point right then and there, right?
Yeah, I met a girl, really liked her. I was already in the midst of that battle, and I just one day said, that's it, I'm done. And it was the only thing, probably the only time that thinking with my dick did not get me in trouble.
That's funny. So she was like the turning point, basically.
Yeah.
Wow. So
yeah.
when you
and
yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, it was at that point I am not proud of anything that I did.
Yeah.
And in fact, as I mentioned earlier, I'm a recovering alcoholic. So there's a lot of things from that past that I have to make amends for, and I will never see any of these people again.
Yeah.
So as Angela Davis said, it's not enough to not be racist. You have to be anti-racist.
Gotcha.
And you have to recognize your racism and actively go against what you believe.
Yeah.
And it's a constant learning process.
Yeah, I think it's a learning process for everybody, especially people who are trying to either get empowered from their own group or learning from outside forces. It's a learning process for everybody in every field, in every avenue. So let me ask you, because of after you you left and you wanted to leave, and obviously I bet you that didn't sit well with some of your people that you were a part of.
Not at all.
So can you tell us what happened?
Oh wow! For 6 months after that, the War Skins. That was the group that was led up by the lovely, kind, gentle human being, beautiful human being, Tom Metzger. Can you smell the sarcasm?
Yes.
Yes, the White Aryan Resistance.
Okay.
War Skins, which is really stupid because White Aryan, that is redundant.
Yeah.
There are no black Aryans.
Yeah.
That tells you the intellect of these people, okay?
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Let's keep it real. When I walked away from them, not only have I walked away from them, I have turned my back on my brothers. So I've got that bit of betrayal there. But I'm also a race traitor. War had, at least in Orange County, a hotline. It just rang up to an answering machine. It may or may not still be active today. I'm curious now. But for 6 months, for a solid 6 months, my name was number 1 or number 2 on that hit list.
Really?
And I could not go anywhere.
Really?
I ran into we had another member of the group just disappear.
Oh wow, I could imagine.
We all thought that he got locked up.
Yeah.
Because he just dropped out. No word where he was going, whatever. It turns out that he had a turn as well.
Wow.
He came up one night. Now, as I mentioned with the sharp skins, now this, depending on the area and the era, your bootlaces on your docks, they told you who you represented. And if you had white laces, you were a sharp or a two-tone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If you had red laces, you were Nazi.
And also you shed blood, right? Is that was one of the things to have red laces because you, I think, killed for the movement or shed blood or something like that?
That in some areas that's what it means.
Okay.
But in our little pocket, it was whites were sharps, reds were Nazi.
Okay.
And I think the more you've drawn blood thing, I think that's more common today.
Gotcha.
That's generally what it means across the board.
Gotcha. And I want to give the people, a generalization of what area you're talking about. You're talking about California, and this is all these stories that you're talking and discussing and your experiences. This all happened in California, correct?
Yeah, it was all Orange County, California.
Gotcha. Okay.
That lovely home of republicanism.
Yeah. Even though it's a majority, quote unquote, they say it's liberal, it's a blue state or whatever, but it's necessarily not really, right?
No, not there in Orange County. I used to say, really, after this time period, that the only good thing about Orange County was Santa Ana.
Oh, okay.
And its nickname is Little Tijuana because if you're seen walking down the street there and you're white, you're either lost or a cop.
Wow. Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, Santa Ana is vast majority Latino.
Gotcha.
Community.
Gotcha.
Beautiful neighborhood. I actually miss it.
Yeah. I bet you miss the weather too. I've been to California plenty of times, and I love it out there.
That's about the only thing I like about the state.
Yeah, yeah. And the funny thing is, whenever I did go out there to just to like visit or whatever, and I would ask people directions, I'm like, hey, where do I go? They always tell me the same thing. Oh, you're gonna get the 5 to the 210 to the 210 to the 107, and I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's always like that. I'm like, Jesus Christ, are you talking riddles now? What are you talking about? And then later on I found out that it's just highways, and that's how Californians talk. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's about it. One funny thing, I was at a gas station that was right across the street from Disneyland. In fact, you're looking at the back fence of Disneyland, and somebody asked me how to get there, and I was just, okay, this is a tourist. It's time to have fun. And I sent him on this loop and if you can look at a map on this thing, I sent him on a loop that went from Disneyland out to San Bernardino, up into Colton, out into Santa Monica, back down, and approach, because we were on the north side, and they had approached Disneyland after this probably 2 or 3 hour drive from the south.
Wow.
So all he had to do was drive over the hill, and he was right there.
Yeah. But you send them in the... That's funny. That's hilarious.
I was not a nice person.
Yeah. No, that's funny. That's funny. Like, listen. I think every New Yorker has done it too. When they're in front of Times Square and somebody says, "Excuse me, where's Times Square?" and you literally look at them while there's a bunch of TV screens all around you. You're like, "Yeah, Times Square. Yeah, you go 10 blocks north, and then you go a couple of avenues south, and you'll be right there." So
go down to Houston, turn left.
Yeah, exactly. Go to Houston, turn left. Once you reach Chinatown, you're close.
Yeah.
That's funny. No, so let me ask you then. Since when you left and you were going through your recovery of leaving, and all your ideologies were being challenged, did you what was the eye-opening thing, like, oh my God, everything that I was taught isn't real?
That was a progression, along with the racist ideology. My religious ideologies had changed as well. And I went, I run the gamut of atheist, Satanist, Wiccan, Christian, agnostic. And in this journey, I just got to that point where we have organized religion is even teaching hate.
Yeah.
And using those words in that book to hurt people. And I just couldn't be a part of that anymore. I felt too many triggers to my Nazi days.
Got it.
And I walked away from that.
Got it. So, because it kind of made you sensitive to certain things, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I did a lot of learning in the 90s.
Got it.
Being homeless, and this is why I say I'm not proud of the things that I've done, but I'm proud of the fact that I went through it and I grew from it. Because over that time, and the times of being homeless, the times of losing everything I own multiple times, it's broken me of the materialism. It's taught me compassion. I'm sure you probably know who the guardian angels are, being in New York. I was a guardian angel in Denver.
Wow.
And to see me in that position versus just in the early 90s, late 90s, I was a totally different person there. And like I said, it's just so much easier to love somebody.
Yeah. Now
There's so far.
Yeah. I could imagine, because now, like, it's, you know, you're kind of revolved around all this hate, and you're constantly, you know, being told that you're superior, but then you also have to hate other people and you got to show your superiority. It's kind of showing like your lack of superiority. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like a double-edged sword, you know?
Yep.
Now I want to get into the mind of a, you know, Nazi. I want to get into the mind of a white supremacist who actually, you know, thinks like this, and who actually, you know, believes almost everything that they're being told, you know, because I do episodes on individuals like this and try to break down the psychology of it. And pretty much that's the reason why I ask you certain questions, you know? Now let me ask you, did you see white supremacy as a religion?
I did not.
Okay.
In my group we had some that did, but most of us it was just hate.
Okay.
That's all it was.
Okay.
An excuse to hate.
Okay. But the reason why I ask that is because some people, you know, they see this as a religious type of thing, you know, where, you know, they put, you know, certain ideologies on that hate that makes them, you know, see it as a holy thing, you know, because they're doing God's work, you know?
Yeah, that would be people who tie more closely to, what was his name? Ben Clausen. And the Church of the Creator. Got it. And he was another lovely human being.
Gotcha.
He's the one that came up with the Rahowa.
Really? And we're gonna get into that whole Rahowa thing later in a bit. But really, wow, I wasn't aware of that. Yeah, I wasn't aware that he came up with that whole ideology.
Yeah, you can look him up. Ben Clausen, that's Klassen, and the Church of the Creator.
Wow.
And he was one of the guys right in the early 20th century on. Building this whole thing.
Wow, I didn't know that. Wow.
And unfortunately, he's buried not too far from me.
Yeah, wow. That's just, that's crazy. There's
crazy. Another grave to go piss on.
Yeah, that's insane. Now, let me ask you something else. Did your group, or do regular white supremacists, they consider the month of April a holy month?
Again, some did, but it was more of a what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say a joke.
Okay.
But it was more of an in passing thing. Like, hey, watch it. It's a holy month. You're right.
Got it. Because the reason why I asked is because.
But there are.
Yeah. The reason why I asked is because, like, most white supremacist attacks, like Dylan Roof and the Oklahoma City bombing, happened in April. You know, and that's the main reason why I even asked that, because I could kind of see some of these. Like,
basically.
Go ahead.
Yeah, basically, the deeper you're in, and the more extreme you are, the more that it becomes a quote unquote holy month.
Gotcha. Now let me ask you this: why do you got some members actually? But what is the easiest way to get some of these members? Because I know there's some recruitment events that actually happen. What's the easiest thing to get some of these members? Because I've seen some documentaries and some testimonies of people saying, well, I was lost and I was this and I was that. And when I got recruited, I felt, family. I felt a warm embrace and all of this.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that the easiest way, basically, getting weak people?
Pretty much. That's about it. You're looking for the people who are bullied. You can see that hate in them.
Okay.
And it's one of those, come to the dark side. We have cookies.
Got it. And it's something that
you give them that.
The movement brings out of you.
You give them that. You give them. Yeah, you give them that feeling of family and that brotherhood, and hey, it doesn't matter what you do, we got your back. Well, a lot of these people, they're not getting that at home.
Got it.
And they're abused in school. They drop out of school, and it's pretty much. It doesn't matter what ethnic background that gang has.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same thing. A gang is a gang is a gang.
Yeah.
And it's the same recruiting procedure. It's not like you go down to the county fair and start handing out flyers. Hey, come join us. You're going to have a lot of fun. Hey, no membership dues.
Yeah. That's funny. No, so you got certain people like part of the KKK that say, hey, listen, we're not racist whatsoever, but yet their actions don't say that. They're saying that we're not racist, but the real racist ones are the Jews. Where does that mentality come from?
Again, that comes from Clausen.
Really?
He built the belief that Jews created the Christian church to weaken the white man.
But some would say Jews are also white. Jews is a religion. Yeah.
So once again, we're at that white Aryan resistance thing. These things were not thought completely through.
Yeah, exactly. But Judaism is a religion. It's not like I could turn Jewish right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that doesn't really add up. That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. So, also, let's go to the RAHOWA thing for 1 second. A lot of people, when I break down white supremacy and some of their ideologies, they get a little confused on what RAHOWA is. And I always told them that RAHOWA is basically like a holy war. It's like a battling cry. So can you tell us a little bit more? Can you give us some insight on what RAHOWA is?
It is the pending, quote unquote, racial war. RAHOWA is actually, if you really gonna get down to the nitty gritty, it's spelled capital R A. I got to remember where I'm at here. Capital H O capital W A, and that is the first two letters of racial holy war.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. And this racial holy war is basically going against the mud people, is what I'm understanding.
Really, anybody who isn't white.
Okay, so
mud people.
So Latin people are getting the same thing, regardless if they think that they're white. They're getting the same thing, correct?
Yep.
Gotcha. Because there's some there's some Latin people out here who have light eye, like blue eyes, light skin, but yet their last name is Espinada or Ortiz or Batista, And I tell them, I'm like, listen, you're gonna pass here, but with real racists, they'll see that last name, and that's like a red flag for them.
You can be lily white like me. If I started going by my family name of Machado, I'm done.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Yeah. Yep.
Just carry the name and you're done.
Yeah. This is what I tell people all the time. That all that little racist thing you're saying could fly now, but when you go to real, Nazis, they don't play that. You know, they'll probably, and this is what I tell them, they'll probably fight with you, let you fight with them on their side, but after the war is done, they'll fight with you right afterwards. You know, they won't get you.
Exactly. You know the term in case of zombies, I don't have to run fast. I just have to run faster than you. That is the case with white supremacists. You can run with us, but you're never really gonna. And it's kind of same with the mafia. You know, if you're not Italian, you can run with us, but you're not really one of us.
Yeah.
And when the shit hits the fan, guess who we're tripping?
Yeah.
You, because they're going to eat you and not us.
And it's funny how you say the mafia, because when you want to become a made man, they kind of have to go through your lineage to see if you're from Sicily, right?
I believe that's correct.
Yeah, that's insane. So can you enlighten us about the 14 words?
14 words. I actually had to look this up to remember it. There are actually two instances of it. We must secure the existence of our people and a future for white children.
Okay.
Lovely.
Yeah.
And then the other version of that is because the beauty of the white Aryan woman must not perish from the earth.
Okay. So with the go ahead.
Yeah, and that comes from David Lane.
David Lane. Okay.
And his 14 words and 88 precepts.
88, which is Hail Hitler, right?
It's the 88 precepts, Heil Hitler.
Yeah.
And there is one more bit of significance to it, and I cannot pull it off the top of my head.
Okay. Well, we'll probably.
But if you see a 1488 tattoo, or you see 1488 graffiti, that's exactly where that's coming from.
Got it. And that's a dead giveaway right there, right? Got it. So with the whole securing of the white women and all this other stuff, it's kind of interesting because according to the 14 words, that's really basically saying protect the white woman from non-white sexuality, correct?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Now,
so you don't have interracial babies, you don't have interracial relationships, and basically everything that's wrong with the world.
Gotcha. Now I'm gonna I don't know. Do you know who Frances Cress Welsing is?
The name sounds familiar.
Okay, she wrote a book basically breaking down the psychology of white supremacy and stuff. And the reason why I asked who she is because she said something very interesting that I've always kind of had in the back of my mind. And the 14 words basically kind of put that thing what she said in perspective. What she said was the reason why they have to secure white women and protect white women sexually is because that product of having sex with somebody non-white, that product will be non-white regardless of skin color. Is that somewhat true?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, even if they come out looking bone white.
Gotcha.
They are still impure because they have X blood in them.
Got it. Even if they start believing.
And on top of that, she has also defiled herself by doing so.
Okay. Even though the product might look bone white, have all the quote unquote purities of an Aryan, meaning blonde hair, blue eyes, and they start speaking the same way as other Aryans and other white supremacists with the same mantra and the same ideology, but knowing genetically that they have black in them, they're still impure.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
That's exactly it.
Gotcha. And this is the reason why.
Which is why I love seeing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I love seeing these white supremacists going on shows like Maury and the like, and finding out that they have black DNA. It's just, the looks on their faces is such a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and this is the reason why I want to go into brass tacks here, because I want to break down certain things so people can actually have an understanding and how inconsistent these things are. You know what I mean? And someone that came from your experience. At least I like the honesty. You know what I mean? I like the honesty, and thank you for coming. You know.
Yeah, you're welcome, man.
Yeah. So can you explain to me what are the mud people? Because I keep on hearing this term mud people, and I always thought mud people were Latin people. You know, but some other people were correcting me, saying no, mud people is anybody outside of being black, but you're not, you know, you're still melanated, you know what I mean? But outside of being black, what is the mud people?
My understanding and the way I was taught, it was basically anybody not white.
Got it. Okay.
As you put it, anybody who is melanated.
Got it. Now, basically that goes, you know, that's self-explanatory right there. Now, I have another question. Are Latin people viewed as inferior to black people as well?
I would say to a degree anyway, no.
Got it.
Because you are more likely to be able to get away with running with that pack as a light-skinned Hispanic than black.
Gotcha.
You don't have a chance. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But so there's a little more give there.
Gotcha. Which makes me ask you this other question, and it's kind of interesting. What are your thoughts on the Hispanic neo-Nazi movements, like the most Mexican gangs?
That is some serious self-hate.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
That is, I'm honestly dumbfounded by that whole thing. That you are actively preaching against yourself. I honestly do not understand how they, any group like that, how you can rectify that in your head. Because if you have that belief, you obviously have done some level of research, and you can see in black and white everywhere you read that you do not fit the mold for this belief system.
Why do you think
how
these type of people want to get down with that type of movement?
I would have to think that it is some form of empowerment that they're after.
Okay.
Some sort of racial pride, which is fine. Be proud of who you are.
Yeah.
But when you're looking down on others and feeling that you're superior to others, that's where you have to draw the line. And this is you're feeling superior to yourself. So, That's like chickens voting for Colonel Sanders.
The way I describe them is basically the slaves thinking that they're the slave masters, and basically going back to the slave masters saying, "Oh, I did really good, right, sir? I did really good," and they'll never get accepted, saying, "Yeah, whatever, go back to the field." You know, that's how I always see these type of people, because in reality, if you really want to break it down, they'll those type of movements and those type of people will never get accepted in the whole grand scheme of things, correct?
No.
Gotcha.
They're acceptable only to their own.
Got it.
Because those of us with a properly functioning brain are looking at them like, huh?
Yeah.
And the white supremacists are saying, you are stupid.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that we agree on.
Yeah. Because it goes back to the same thing that you said earlier. You know, they'll get accepted to a certain degree, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is very interesting.
Probably.
Which is very interesting. And I want to tell you something about Latin people as a whole, especially those Latin people from, you know, that come, you know, with that type of mentality. Most, not all, but most Latin people, because we're mixed with Spaniards, black, and, you know, indigenous, you know, most Latin people, they think because they're mixed with Spanish, they're automatically white. So what are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. This is the first time I've ever heard that.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's very deep. It's very, very deep.
It is.
Yeah, they have some Latin people have this this construct in their mind. Because and mind you, because Latin people were also enslaved during the slave trade. They were also enslaved. The thing is that, you know, the Spanish, historically speaking, the Spanish did something to us very different that the Europeans did something to black folks. But the thing is that Latin people, for the most part, because we have some Spanish blood in us, we automatically think that, okay, we're good with white people because we have part Spanish, you know?
Huh.
Yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it?
That's yeah. I mean, that's where I'm just kind of trying to process that.
Yeah.
I really don't have have anything to say. It's something interesting to look into.
Yeah, it's something. It's mind blowing because you look at them and they have brown or black faces, and you're like, what? You know, it's interesting. It's very interesting.
And actually, I have seen that a little bit with Argentinians.
Okay.
Yeah, that lived in the areas that, because as a lot of people know, and I'm actually surprised how many people don't know, is that after World War II, a lot of the Nazis went from Germany. They escaped Germany and they went to Argentina.
Yeah.
And I have seen, now that you bring that up, I have seen that in some Argentinians. So that they have that, I'm white. You know, my great-grandfather was German, or my grandfather, or whomever was German. So I'm there.
And they have a super dark grandma. They don't even claim, you know. And they'll talk about, hey, what about your nose and your hair? That's not white. They're like, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. You know, they completely dismiss it.
Grandma, you have a beard. You're not white.
Exactly. No, that's a tan. That's not. No, she's white. That's a tan. You know, and my thing with that is that I tell my Latin people, I say, listen, you won't get accepted in these type of movements. And the example that I bring up is the El Paso shooting. You know, that's the main example that I bring up. You know, you being a former white supremacist, can you tell us a little bit more of the mentality that goes into something like that?
That case specifically?
Well, not only that case specifically, but just in the case of, you know, how somebody that, you know, that is in the life of hate, is in, you know, indoctrinated in the life of hate, will go into those extremes and basically see all those type of people as enemies.
I believe his actual expressed intent was to start Rahowa.
Yeah.
That is the case for a lot of these guys. They want to start that. They want to be the one to pull the trigger and fire that first shot to start the race war.
Yeah.
And I can honestly say all of them are the biggest wastes of human flesh on this planet. When I found out that cat traveled all the way across Texas, and you and I both know what spawned him. It's the Mango Mussolini there in D.C.
Yeah.
His rhetoric triggered him to go all the way down to El Paso just to shoot brown people.
Yeah.
And that is 100% disgraceful.
Yeah. And his thing, if you read his manifesto, which leads up to my next question, his manifesto basically said is because he's trying to stop white genocide. You know, being white genocide is supposed to be something that a lot of people in your former movement is like scared about. Can you give us a little bit of insight on what white genocide is and why is that something being taught?
Well, white genocide is actually a new construct, and I believe it actually comes out of South Africa.
Really?
I believe so. Don't hold me to that.
Yeah.
But I believe it does.
Okay.
And really, if you want to know the reality of the whole white genocide belief, is that it is white men fearing the loss of their power. The world is changing. People are being accepted. Younger generations, God bless you, millennials.
Yeah.
Younger generations are waking up to this crap.
Yeah.
And they're seeing that this hate is no longer acceptable. We're going to change this world for the better.
Yeah.
And these fragile white males are saying they're taking everything. They're taking over. They're looking to destroy everything that we've built. And I'm sitting here as one of them saying, let them.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all there is to it. Just let them.
Yeah.
They're on the right track.
Yeah. Do you think the white genocide mythos, it kind of gets empowered by, new research saying that there's more white deaths than births?
I suppose it could be, but that's also a statistical thing. People aren't having babies.
Yeah.
Just because. And it does not have anything to do with. See, part of all of his rhetoric.
Yeah.
It's there's a thin line of truth in it.
Okay.
And that's why he's so successful.
Okay.
And they will take that little bit of truth that white people aren't getting married as much.
Yeah.
They're not having babies as much.
Yeah.
So our numbers are dropping. Okay. So, and now we have these, and I watched this firsthand because I left California some 20 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And when I left my area of town in North Orange County, it was predominantly white. The south side of town was predominantly Hispanic. West side was actually mostly Indian.
Okay.
I shouldn't say mostly, but there was a good population of Indian over on that side. I went back, and neighborhoods 20 years later, neighborhoods that have always been historically white are now Hispanic. And these neighborhoods on the west side of town, who are it was pretty much 50-50 white and Indian, it's all Korean now. And I would have assumed it would have been Vietnamese because Vietnamese had a big presence in Garden Grove.
Yeah.
So where did the Koreans all come from? They came in, and now it's everywhere you look. It's a Korean barbecue. There's a Korean restaurant, Korean laundry, and so on and so forth. And they're seeing things like that. They're seeing the demographics of their areas change, and more brown people are moving in.
Yeah.
And it scares them. Because we're back to that source.
Yeah.
That hate that they feel is fed by, when you get right down to brass tacks, it is fear.
Got it. Okay. Fear that's something that they don't understand or know or anything like that, which makes sense.
Exactly. They don't bother to educate themselves, so they fear it and they hate it.
Got it. So now let me ask you, because it's something very, very interesting, because with the whole statistical areas about more white deaths than births, if you really go down to it, they basically said is because of, not because of lack of money or resources, it's because a lot more white people are getting addicted to these opioids, because of the whole opioid epidemic. Is mostly young people, around their 20s and 30s, who are basically partying with now harder drugs, and it's kind of those are the effects that's happening, Now, I wanna ask you something. Are you aware of the alt-right? Okay. Richard,
Aware.
Yeah. Richard Spencer.
We're great friends.
Yeah. Richard Spencer. Miko? No, Michael Yiannopoulos. All those other characters. Steve Bannon and stuff. Now let me ask you, why do you think? Why is it that most of these alt-right people, they, to prove that they're not, racist or whatever the case is, they actually get with Asian women? What's the mentality in that?
I'm sure you've seen this on Twitter and in social media and everywhere. It's I'm not racist. My girlfriend's brother's sister is black.
Yeah.
It's that thing. I'm not racist. I have an Asian wife.
Yeah. But it's
bullshit. You're still a racist piece of shit.
Yeah, it's interesting though, because they choose Asian. They don't even choose black. They choose Asian though. And it's something kind of interesting to me. Why Asian? And if you kind of go down the racial hierarchy of things, you kind of see that Asian people are kind of lumped up as the minority that every minority needs to be. They're like the propped up minorities. You know what I mean? So, do you think that has something to do with it? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Possibly.
Okay.
It's kind of interesting that they choose Asians, and the swastika actually has origins in I believe it's in Buddhism, Hinduism, and also in Native Americans.
Yeah.
So, but it's most commonly believed to be a Buddhist symbol. So maybe that's a thing from, I don't know.
Gotcha. Okay, so can you explain to us what an extremist versus a bigot is? The reason why I asked this is because most extremists, they're the Dylan Roofs, they're the El Paso shooter, they're the male bombers, those are the most extremists. And what I say the bigots, because they're still under the umbrella of white supremacy, but when I call a bigot the person that's in a jury and that will condemn a black or Latin person for, stealing something when evidence is showing that they're not stealing anything. A bigot is one of the people that will give George Zimmerman thousands of dollars for his defense because they believe that what he did was right, but they're not brave enough to actually come out and actually have those beliefs, not either challenge or show their beliefs out on TV or social media or whatever. So can you give me what is the difference between the extremists and bigots in your point of view?
That is one of the big separations that we have to make if we're going to beat this thing.
Okay.
Jane Elliott I don't know if you know that name.
Yeah, she did the blue eye test.
She did the
the blue eye test.
exactly.
Yeah.
Amazing woman. I love her to death. She had said that if you grew up in America, if you grew up white in America and you're not racist, it's a miracle. And we need, yeah, and it's absolutely true. It is 100% true, because we have to separate racism and hate.
Yeah.
They are not the same thing.
Yeah.
They are absolutely not the same thing. You can be racist and not have a hateful bone in your body.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? And that's where the difference lies, is that the bigots, they don't necessarily hate you. They'll come out and they'll break bread with you at the Saturday barbecue.
Yeah.
But then as soon as you walk away, they'll be throwing all kinds of racist BS at you.
Yeah.
The haters, you're not even going to be at the barbecue unless you're on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's, to me, that's the separation.
Gotcha.
In the extremism and the
gotcha.
The bigot.
Because I always some people even told me that for what I've basically talked about, just exposing white supremacy in certain aspects of our everyday lives, I have certain white people tell me, well, why are you calling all white people white supremacists? Which I don't do that. I always say there's a difference between white supremacists and white people, huge difference, but these white people, they feel emboldened and they feel attacked when I just say the word white supremacy, saying like, listen, this is a part of the system of white supremacy. And they call me a racist, when I always said that racism basically comes from, you have to have power behind your racism. You can't just enact a certain act, and you have to have power. Can you give me some insight on why do these white people do that?
Because you're shining light on their sin. You're facing, you are shoving facts that they cannot deny in their face.
Okay.
You tell them that, like with the cops. You tell them the cops are gunning down young black men at a much higher rate than white men.
Yeah.
That is true. And they will say, well, what about black on black crime? No.
Yeah.
That is for that community to deal with.
Yeah.
We, as white people, have to deal with the fact that our militarized police force has taken it upon themselves to start gunning people down in the streets. And they say, well, all lives matter. Obviously not, because when the white people were getting gunned down, and there's a few that made the headlines, who was it that was screaming about them? Black Lives Matter.
That's true. And
all lives matter wasn't saying a damn thing about them.
Yeah, that's true. And the thing is, when I hear the people from the NRA talk about, well, if you didn't have illegal guns, maybe you wouldn't have gotten shot. And I point out, Philando Castile, who've gotten shot, and he did have a legal registered gun in the glove compartment. Then they'll deflect and say, "Oh well, what about Chicago?" I'm like, "What does that have to do with our conversation?" "Oh well, you're a racist." What? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it kind of
exactly.
Yeah, like it kind of like blows up in their face, like that kind of doesn't make sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and again, it's because you're showing them indisputable facts. A lot of will say in Philando's case that, no, the gun was not legal. He did not have a license in that county. His license was issued by the county next door, which doesn't make it any less legal.
Yeah, exactly. And
what about Chicago? What about Venezuela? Socialism doesn't work. You know what? You just shot yourself in the mouth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This conversation is over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, can you give me insight on your thoughts on Charlottesville, on that whole train wreck that happened, and the loss of life that we had called Heather Heyer. Can you give us your thoughts on that?
God bless her. God bless her. The woman goes out, fights for what she believes is right, and a coward runs her down. Her and I think there were 16 people injured.
I think
in that.
I can't remember the number, but yeah,
somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere in that neck of the woods. And all the screaming that the alt-right does about Antifa,
yeah,
while these knuckleheads are actually running people down at protests, Antifa hasn't done that.
Okay.
Antifa hasn't murdered anybody.
Yeah.
While they are sitting up just a couple days ago, literally blocking a hospital because they want America to reopen and they want us to go back to work making their food. And they don't want America to reopen so that they can go back to work. They want us to go back to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. While they are literally blocking a hospital.
Yeah.
Antifa is out in their whatever rooms they can find in their garages, and they're making masks and hand sanitizer and food and lunches to walk around town, passing it out to homeless and people who need it.
Yeah. I've seen that too. Yeah.
So, you tell me who's wrong here. Who's looking out for a better world?
That's true. That's true.
And these knuckleheads, they go out like in Charlottesville. They're not protesters. They're terrorists.
Yeah. Yeah.
Protesters do not go to protests armed to the teeth.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
And willing to pull that trigger.
Yeah, you're right.
That is terrorism.
I did see certain parts of Charlottesville, which got me, by surprise because to be completely honest, I did not know how big the white supremacist movement and how many factors it had. I was completely blown away. Certain symbols that they had on I'd never seen before. Certain ideologies that they were talking about, blood and soil. I didn't know that was a mantra of most alt-right white supremacists. I wasn't aware of this. And it kind of gave me an open window into their world a little bit, that I ended up researching a lot more on what their ideologies were and are. And they use little code words like, the globalist, we have to preserve, Western powers. They say little code words.
Sound like something else?
Yeah, it does.
We have to preserve Western power. We have to preserve what?
Yeah.
The white.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're not white supremacists.
Yeah, exactly. They say little things like another one that they say that our neighborhoods are changing. They never say nothing about what they're changing into. They just say our neighborhoods are changing and we gotta preserve the purity of our neighborhoods. So I'm like, wait a minute.
Preserve the whiteness of our neighborhood.
Yeah, that's what they're really saying. So I'm like, wait a minute. Now, me and you had on Twitter, we were going back, having conversations, and you pretty much said that President Trump is a racist, and you do see him as a white supremacist. Do you see him emboldening the movement that makes that kind of caused the rise to go up on the movement of white supremacy?
Absolutely, 150%. This problem. Let's make no mistake here. These racists, they're not. There isn't a rise in racism in America. These people have been here. They have just been emboldened to speak up and show that racism by his rhetoric.
Yeah, okay. Which is true. Something I do, do believe. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
absolutely right.
There's nothing new about it.
Yeah.
Okay? the whole racist cop thing and the racist system. This comes from, once again, Tom Metzger. Okay. For the last 20 years or so, after he and War got sued in, I believe it was Oregon, maybe Washington, he has been pushing since then to infiltrate banks, infiltrate police departments, fire departments, hospitals, all the areas of public service and commercial businesses, financial businesses, that's the word I was looking for. Infiltrate them as lone wolves. We're not doing this gang thing anymore. You go in with your racist beliefs and you go into the police department and you work your angle of this from within.
Okay.
And we're starting to see the fruits of that. Now, there are other mechanics in play here, but that is just one of those angles.
Yeah. Wow.
That we're seeing.
Wow. Yeah, because the FBI did come out, was it 2006, saying that white supremacist organizations have infiltrated law enforcement throughout the country. And
yep.
That
is exactly why.
Yeah, that's insane. It kind of also puts in perspective was it Oscar Grant? Was it Oscar Grant or I forgot who? A police shot a black guy, and he had a shirt under his uniform. It was basically the Confederate flag, and the prosecutor didn't choose to put that into the court. They chose to struck that out of evidence, which is kind of insane.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, surprise. Now,
I mean, the legal system is a gang in and of itself.
Yeah.
Okay. Who are the judges? Lawyers.
Yeah.
Okay. Who does the DA deal with most directly? Cops.
Yeah.
They've got friends. The lawyers are all friends. The judges are all friends. The judges and the lawyers are all friends, and it's one little good old boy network in the system, and it's perfectly legal.
Yeah. You're absolutely right on that.
And
go ahead.
I was just going to say, and that's why we can never get solid convictions when the cops do stupid shit like this.
Yeah, you're right. And this is the reason why I kind of point out at the disproportionate, numbers of black people into the jail system. It's not because, they're more violent. Just what this guy who believes in the bell curve, I totally forgot his name. A lot of white supremacists look up to this guy. He's an older dude. I completely forgot his name, but he likes to portray. Oh, Jared Taylor. There you go. Jared Taylor likes to portray, saying that black and Latin people are more violent. They're prone to more violence. That's the reason why they're always in jail. And if you really go down to it, to brass tacks, you actually see that there's a lot more non-violent drug offenders who are in jail due to these drug laws that are, made up to incarcerate us more,
Thank you, Clinton.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, there it goes.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah, that's pretty much who did it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Clinton, Biden.
Yeah.
This whole thing, are they genetically prone? No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Are they societally prone? Yes.
Yeah.
Because what happens when you take all of the jobs out of their neighborhood?
Yeah.
Okay, I spent a little time in east side of Detroit. Okay, people have to go out of east side Detroit. They have to drive miles into Grosse Pointe and Sterling Heights just to go to a supermarket.
Yeah.
Okay? When you take all the business out of the neighborhood and you leave them with no jobs, inferior transportation to get to those jobs, you're living in poverty, what's the first thing you're going to do? They got to feed their babies.
Yeah. You're stirring up a
They're gonna
whole pot of violence. Yeah,
exactly. And it's planned. That's what they want, so that they can keep that whole, they're all criminals.
Yeah.
No, they're not. They're just trying to take care of their own.
Yeah, exactly.
You decriminalize the weed, and now you got a whole issue. You put the businesses back into those neighborhoods and watch how they shape up.
Yeah, and we've seen it happen, back in the 50s and 60s. We've seen, these neighborhoods actually be prosperous, but then, again, due to the system, they have to basically break down the neighborhoods. Now, let me ask you something, and we're pretty much going to start wrapping it up now. Let me ask you something. I sent you 3 videos, right? By any chance, did you look at those videos?
I watched the first 2 that you sent.
Okay.
I wasn't able to get time to catch the third one.
It's totally fine. It's pretty much the same thing. The first 2 that you sent, that guy right there, his name is Antonio, right? He's Dominican, born in America, and he considers himself a Dominican nationalist. Now, if you really break everything down, there's no such thing as a Dominican nationalist whatsoever. He's just basically a nationalist. The other kid that I sent you a picture of, that's one of his friends who actually believes the same thing. I'm just going to basically break down their ideology together. Their ideology basically is that, the same thing that I told you that most Latin people believe, but they kind of do it to the extreme. They believe that Spaniards is the superior race, and they should align more with Spain because of their genetics, that they have a Spanish blood, and that they should lighten up the Latin community, and they shouldn't be it shouldn't be as dark. It should be lightened up. And this person basically considers himself and classifies himself as Spaniard. Again, he's a Dominican nationalist. It doesn't make any sense. Now, as a former white supremacist, I want to ask you, just looking at his face, does he look anywhere near Spanish whatsoever?
Well, I can't really pick apart where people generally come from.
Yeah, of course.
Within the Hispanic community.
Yeah.
I actually can do that with Asian communities, but not with the Hispanic. So, to me, I hate to say it because it really is a racist thing, but y'all look alike to me.
Yeah. That's so funny. Yes, you're right.
I mean, I can determine a couple different areas of Mexico, but that's it.
Yeah.
Oaxacan's got a really distinctive look to him.
Okay, so but he doesn't pass as basically what you just said. We all look alike, so we're all big one N-word basically put together. So would he get a pass in a movement like you were formerly connected to?
No.
He wouldn't get a pass.
Like I said, only to be cannon fodder.
What about his friend over there? Dark as hell. What about his friend?
Oh, he probably wouldn't even. I did see the picture of the guy.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have a chance.
That's funny. He goes
because while Hispanics they get a little more leeway, you really have to look white.
You gotta look white, but even though if you look white, phenotypically you have to look white as well. With the nose and everything. And the first guy doesn't get a pass whatsoever. But the second guy, the darker one, he goes by the name of Dominican Renaissance. You know what I mean? Like just look at the words that he's using. Dominican Renaissance, like it's a Renaissance of Spain. And it's funny, their ideology is so resonant of, you know, white supremacy, to the point where when you call them out on their white supremacy ideology, they kind of look at you and say, no, I can't be this because I am this and this and this. You know what I mean? But yet they have their ideology of white supremacy.
Yeah. It's I don't know. I'm kind of dumbfounded right now. Honestly.
It's funny because it's kind of an idiotic thing too to actually, you know, believe. You know what I mean? But again, white supremacy is not supposed to be something smart. You know?
Yeah, and it all too often is not.
Yeah.
It's not even logical, let alone smart.
Yeah. But
yeah, I'm all for people being, like I said, being proud of their race and who they are, and actually I shouldn't even say race, because there literally is only one race. We have multiple ethnicities.
Yeah.
And there's only one race.
You're right.
So be proud of who you are. Be proud of your country that you come from. Be proud of your ethnicity, but don't take that to the point where you feel that you are better than any other. Yeah.
Now, before we wrap it up, can you give us some white supremacist signs that we need to look out for? Like, for example, the OK symbol. Is that a white? Because I've seen more white supremacists use it. Is that now considered the white supremacist symbol?
I would have to say, yeah, they are.
Okay.
Obviously, just recently adopting that.
Okay.
Obviously, prior to when did they start doing that? In it was in 2016, wasn't it?
Yeah. Something. Yeah, very
oddly enough, gee.
Yeah.
Prior to that, it was just that. It was okay, and nobody ever uses that hand signal.
Yeah.
I cannot think of any time in my life that I ever used that hand signal, even though that's what it means.
Yeah, I use a thumb
and
up.
That's why they're adopting it.
Yeah, I use a thumb up signal to say
Thumbs
okay.
Up.
Yeah, that's what I always do. But
yeah, and it's because of the fact that nobody ever uses that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they're adopting it. So when you see it, you see it. It doesn't. It can be really casual. You know, just that sitting back and putting that out on your knee, like one lady did during the I think it was the Kavanaugh hearings.
Yeah.
She had it out on her knee there. So yeah, that's why they're doing it.
Yeah. Oh, can you give us other symbols to look out for and other like tattoo things that we need to look out for?
I say the 1488, the lightning bolts.
Oh yeah, those little lightning bolts. Is it one or two?
Generally two.
Okay.
They're trying to get a little slick with it and only use one now.
Okay.
There's several variants of the swastika.
Really?
That are out. Yeah, and I'm not picturing the top two right now, but they are connected more to Identity Europa.
Oh, okay.
I really can't think of anything.
Yeah.
That isn't, easily searchable.
Yeah.
Outside of the OK.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Pretty much like if they have boots with red laces, that's probably a dead giveaway right there. Not all bald-headed people are skinheads. Not I want to say that. I want to keep it clear.
No.
Not all bald-headed people are skinheads. But if you have the combination, then maybe it'll be a fair assessment to just say, okay, maybe I should look out for this person or whatever.
Yeah, the whole skinhead look was actually stolen.
Was it really?
See, white supremacists can't come up with anything original.
Yeah.
Anything original. They have taken a cherished religious symbol
Yeah.
And turned it into a symbol of hate. They have taken the look of the 1960s mods.
Yeah.
A lot of people may not be familiar with that name, the mods. They all, and there was a resurgent in the 80s.
Yeah.
Of mods. They had what we see as a skinhead look, but they rode around town on their Vespas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Their little scooters.
Yeah.
And that was their thing, with 15 billion mirrors on these things, looking absolutely ridiculous. But that's where they took the look from.
Yeah. I didn't know that. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, a quick way to know that you're dealing with a sharp skin.
Yeah.
Is you will see the sharp logo somewhere on them, which looks a lot like a Roman soldier.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, I didn't know. And the sharp skins are
generally black and white.
Yeah, the sharp skins are the good ones, right?
Yeah, sharp skins are skinheads against racial prejudice.
Got it. Okay. Oh wow, I never even knew that. I didn't know there was an anti-movement against, the skinheads. I wasn't ever aware of that. But hey, the more we know.
Yeah, and and a lot of them are actually former Nazi skins.
Wow.
And they will, in fact, one of the quickest ways, if they don't have that marker, the quickest way you will know that you're talking to a sharp skin is when he calls a Nazi skin a bonehead. They're not skinheads, they're boneheads.
Okay, I get it. I get it now. Oh wow, I wasn't aware of that. Wow. Okay.
Yep. When you hear that bonehead come out, you're almost guaranteed to be talking to a sharp.
Oh, okay. That's funny. Wow, I wasn't aware of that. Well, the more we know. Look at that. Now I'm gonna wrap it up now, and I want to get a solution from you. I always preach about solutions, and every time I always talk about certain issues in our community or certain issues that's happening in our life. I always want to have, hey, this is a solution. Here we go. This is what we need to do. What solutions do you think would be possible for us to eliminate white supremacists or white supremacy or just that hate?
Well, like I brought up earlier, Angela Davis saying you have to do more than be not racist. You have to be anti-racist. Mm-hmm. You have to call out this racism when you see it. Us white guys, listen up, white guys. I'm sure there's a few of you out there. Mm-hmm. We have to take ownership of our racism. And we have to stop and say, that's it. I'm done. It's easier to love our brother. The third option in here is we have to wait for every one of these punks to die.
Okay.
Racists are going to have to die out. They're going to have to give rise to the next generation, which is why I went on this spree a while back on Twitter saying, let the kids lead. We screwed this up. Let the kids lead. Listen to them. They see what's going on here.
Yeah, I have to agree. Because I do see a lot of younger kids moving away from that ideology that their parents probably either had, or brought up in, which is 100% true. Yeah. Fritz, listen, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. I really appreciate. Hey man,
it's been awesome.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Yeah, I really appreciate you coming in, giving your insight on it. I look forward to having you on if you ever want to come on and give your insights on certain things. You're more than welcome.
Definitely, man. Let's do it.
Yeah. You're more than welcome. Again, thank you very, very much. hopefully, you're doing well with this whole COVID thing, and everything looks out, and I usually tell people and my guests where they can find you, but I'm not gonna do that now because you do want to remain anonymous due to your protection or whatever. And I just
we could throw out my Twitter handle.
Oh yeah. Let's throw out your Twitter handle. Where can these non-racist people find you?
The racist ones can find me, but they're going to get a mouthful.
Yeah.
And I am the infamous Fritz Colburn.
Yeah.
On Twitter.
Everything, all his link to his Twitter is going to be down below on the description or on the details of the podcast app. If you listen to this on YouTube, it's going to be in the description down below. But Fritz, thank you very much for coming on by and having this discussion.
All right, brother. Hey, thank you. I appreciate this. It it's it was pretty good for me to get some of this off my chest. So I'm looking forward to the next time.
Yeah. Of course. Just let me know when you want to come by, and we'll make it happen. And we'll have actually, instead of having me on, I have a whole group of people just asking you questions if you don't mind. But
hey, we can do that.
Yeah. Thank you.
I have a lot of opinions on a lot of things, and every now and then I'm actually right.
Yeah. And that's what I like to hear. But thank you very much for coming on by, man.
All right, brother. Bless you.
All right, bye. Peace. Okay, guys. Now that was the interview with Fritz, the former white supremacist. And remember, guys, if you guys want to hit him up, his Twitter is going to be in the link down below. Also in the details on the podcast app. That's where his Twitter is. I put the link and everything, so you guys could either contact him or whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying? Now, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned a lot from everything that I've been always talking about. I hope you guys learned a lot from everything that I've been putting out there, so we can all get educated. There probably is certain things that people are, a little confused about the whole Rahowa thing. It's a white supremacist term for the Holy War. Also, the month of April, that's very, significant. We explained that. Also, with the, he broke down, certain white supremacist symbols and stuff like that. But I hope you guys had a better understanding on how white supremacists think. I hope you guys have a better understanding how these people basically recruit, and these people basically find other people to lead the charge, because in the end of the day, we're all people who are either battered, people who've been mistreated, people who've been basically lost, and we're all trying to find a way to find acceptance from other people. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what it boils down to, and some of these people are born into it, some of these people are not, so at least we have a better understanding on how some of these people think. You know what I'm saying? And when I talk about white supremacists, I'm not talking about all white people. Remember, there's white supremacists and there's white people. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about all white people, and all white supremacists are not wearing hoods. Some of them are wearing, suits and all that. Some of them are judges, some of them are teachers. You know what I mean? So let's make that, 100% clear. I hope you guys enjoyed it and got more educated. If you guys want to follow me, hit me up on Instagram and Twitter at the same name, radical_Latino_. If you want to donate and support your boy and support the podcast, hit up my Cash App, $Radical Latino, or go to my website, radicallatino.com, and donate. Give whatever you guys want to put or whatever. If you can't support monetarily, at least watch my YouTube channel. I am monetized. Go to the ads, or go to your podcast app, rate me 5 stars, put whatever. Oh, look, I really enjoyed the episode and all that. You know what I'm saying? That's a way where you guys could do it. That's not monetarily. I hope I brought you guys a lot of useful information. Now, with that being said, I'm gonna catch everybody later, and please be safe out here. You know what I'm saying? All right, peace.